Welcome to RugRoast episode 13, I think. We've got Angelo and bizflip with us today. But first off, let's listen to a little bit of this. While we're doing that, spam people Discord. Enjoy. Yo, welcome everybody. RugRoast 13. Like, comment, retweet. If you're watching on YouTube, if you could just like and follow or whatever, that'd be really cool. So today we've got Jordan with Angelo, and we've got Ivan with bizflip, and they're both kind of unique. Not really NFT projects, I would say, but more platforms. So it'll be a little different this show, which is good. We do like to switch it up a little bit. But before we get started, to the panel, I wanted to ask what you guys' take is on the SEC FUD of the morning. SEC rejects all these big institutions from their Bitcoin ETFs, right? So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, from my perspective, it's just the SEC being the SEC, but it's a little bit to blame on salacious headlines, because if you actually did read into any of the articles, they basically just said, hey, these are the couple of questions that we felt you did not give us actual guidance on in your filing, and feel free to like refile, right? And so I think I saw a tweet today, I forget who it was from, but they basically said, BlackRock and Fidelity, they're not wasting their time. They're not filing these as like a Hail Mary. Like, they have lawyers and lobbyists and all these other people that are telling them that these ETFs will be a thing. And so it's really just about satisfying the powers that be, no matter kind of if they have to refile a couple of times to kind of hammer this stuff out. And ultimately, I really don't think that the SEC is where this ends anyways. I think that legislation is really what's going to make, cryptocurrency be here for the long run. So I just kind of buy the dip, man. That's all you can really do.
Agreed. Yeah, and I missed it because I don't have any liquidity on chain right now, right? So I was like, oh, I could try to Coinbase some in quick, but it seemed like the most obvious trade in the world to me.
We trade some Bitcoin Cash over here. We're quite happy about that.
Yeah, for sure.
Bitcoin Cash is up big this morning.
Yeah, but I also think that the SEC is definitely, keep in mind that there's a life cycle in politics, and the life cycle in FCC commissioner 4 to 6 years, whatever. So when we see like a new administration come in, things could drastically change for the crypto space.
Oh, I don't think
go ahead.
I don't think he keeps his job that long, to be honest.
I always plan for the worst, hope for the best, right?
Sure. I just think that with the powers that are getting in, there's just too much money now, and lobbyists will just force the issue to the point where they'll have to end up getting rid of him.
I always think it's always unwise to take a very extreme stance in any kind of political situation, which this current SEC has definitely done. So.
And it's not only just pressure from home, right? Like, it's pressure from the rest of the world who is like quickly adopting it with policy.
We're regulated. We're getting regulated in the EU actually in like a month from now, because it's just very clear guidance. There's very clear rules how to do it, and it's just like I wouldn't even know where to begin on the US side of things.
Well, and that's the whole thing, right? Like, we're not even asking for like favorable guidance, right? We're just asking for guidance and for them to recognize that, it should be able to be used and not set as a security. Like, if they came down and was like, this isn't a security, but here are like 28 regulations that you're going to have to follow to be able to do something with it, that would still be more bullish than where we are right now.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I'm definitely of the opinion that with the amount of money behind it, with these, these big corporations coming in and building out ETFs and things like that, and the amount of power they have in Washington, I think it's going to turn out well for us here in the U.S. Long term. So,
I think
we'll
it's a
see
little bit
what
like
happens.
marijuana. It's just like they don't want it, but it's like so many people started using marijuana. Even my grandparents started smoking it. Like you're just like at some point you're just like, we can't stop this, so let's just like accommodate it somehow.
Yeah, my dad's growing his own plants. Like,
There you go.
I mean, everyone's always used it. It's just been illegal, right?
I mean, to me, it
So-
just seems really counterintuitive, right? Like there's always the argument that says, well, the government got surprised by like how strong crypto was going to be, and so the US wants to bring it down as far as possible so that the institutions that are already known, the banks that are already out there and all these other hedge funds, they can get in at a lower price, and then they'll be the ones that control it and make all the money. And we're kind of going down that road anyways with these
That's certainly the popular mantra these days.
right, with these ETF filings. But in the end, like it just doesn't make sense. Like they could be making so much money if they would just embrace it with policy. You have all of these people who are still skirting taxes and all this other stuff, and a lot of that is policy reasons. And if they just come around, it's better for them in the long run. I really don't understand the argument of like, let's not embrace this, especially when some of them are skirting the line of like, okay, well, the US is going to create its own digital currency, but we're not going to recognize these other things as currency. And it's crazy to me. So I just think that our government, as always, is slow. I worry about how much time policy is actually going to take, because the internet is still not regulated as it should be. And we're 20 30 years into the internet. So
I think you're right. I think it's going to take congressional action to get it where it needs to go. I think that's probably the way it's going to happen.
But it'll just be slow. The only thing that I kind of have hope with is the pressure from outside, and hopefully people realize that if they don't get their head around it and regulate it quickly, that the rest of the world is going to be the ones that prosper from it, right? And that could, worst case scenario, the US gives up financial power, the seat of financial power in the world globally, and it goes somewhere else who wants to embrace it wholeheartedly, like Dubai. I'm excited for my friends that are in the UK that they're getting regulation. I'm jealous. I hate having to sit in the US and feel like we're just a bunch of criminals that are trying to push a movement. But I guess that's kind of what every movement has felt like from the beginning, anyways.
Yeah, pretty much every great story of a new movement has just a ridiculous load of obstacles ahead of it, from computers, chips, doesn't matter. AI now is like the next big thing that they're trying to like smother with like too much red tape. It's just always the story.
Yeah, and for now, the scammers can keep running their things and doing rugs and cash grabs and all types of scams without any regulations. So it's fun to watch it play out. But on that note, we do have a special guest with us today. She just popped in. It's Elaine with Real Vision. Some of you may know her, but I wanted to bring her on just because she's a friend. So, Elaine, how you doing?
GM, Bernie. I just popped in because our show is on a similar time every day, and I've always wanted to come and join on your show, and you're talking about like the UK crypto regulation. I was like, pick me. It's gone under the nose of the king. We're signing that shit, man. We did Brexit. We're out of it. We need money from somewhere. So apparently who knows about apes and punks? So here we are, man. Let's fucking go. It's called the Financial Services and Market Act, and we have signed that shit with the king.
I love it.
Yeah, that is awesome. It's exciting. I wish we would sign something so I could feel that kind of excitement. But like I said, I think that any kind of regulation around the world is helpful.
You need a king, man. We're making it fun. Like, who's going to be the king of US?
I'll do it. I mean, if someone has to, I'm happy to be the king.
Take one for the
volunteer services there.
Yep. Absolutely. I got a lot of rules to implement, so it'll be fun.
But I am sitting on the edge of my seat, though. Like, I thought I was going to go into this weekend. It's solidly holding 30K, and then WSJ just had to release this article with the exclusive colon going, SEC saying the filing is inadequate. And I was like, whoa, why is everything heading south? And I was just like, they just couldn't let me be for one weekend.
It's kind of a joke, to be honest. I mean, even from the headline, I knew, okay, it's inadequate. That means fix the paperwork and send it back in. So, I mean, it's even with the headline and the way that they posted, it was kind of obvious, it's not like.
Yeah, if the headline would have been something like, SEC like rejects ETF filings on the basis of it being illegal, all applications dead in the water, then
that's hardly clickbait, my friend. What are you smoking?
We would have seen like 28K. Like Bitcoin would have just dumped completely.
Yep, and I'd be drinking bleach right now.
Bernie, can I ask you a question? Because I know, like, we've been talking this week, and you said there is a female meme lord in the Rect community. Is that who I'm seeing right now in this chat?
Yeah, she's in the audience. That's Eve. She's hilarious. She just destroys me with memes every day, making fun of the Victory hoodie, Rect guy, which is the best trade.
Which is what she should be doing. We applaud her effort.
Yeah, 2160. I got a feeling that you're kicking her a little ETH on the side to do this, but that's all right, man. We'll let it be. But with that said, we should get into the show.
My secrets.
I'm gonna jump off, Bernie, for my show. Have a great show, man. I hope to see you on Real Vision real soon. Take care. Have a good weekend.
Yep. See you soon. All right, that was our first time we ever had a special pop-up guest appearance. So that was an historical moment.
She seems quite spirited.
She is. Yeah, she's awesome, man. She's at Real Vision. She's a producer. She's got her own show. And soon we're going to have a Rect Guy documentary that they're going to be producing. So that'll be pretty cool. But without further ado, Jordan, to start, if you want to tell us about your background in before Web3 and in Web3, like how did you get to where you are today?
Was there a life before Web3? I don't know if I recall that life anymore.
That's a good thing, man. That means you've been in a while.
Yeah, I mean, I've always had an interest in Web3 since the early days. But before I did all that, I still have like a B2B marketing agency in the Web2 world with the boring B2B marketing community. So I've been doing that for since 2012, long time now. Still have that agency today and partially helps out with the one today. So I've been a marketer by trade for a long time now. Yeah, mostly digital marketing. So you're talking like, search engine optimization, pay-per-click advertising, display advertising, website design, development, that whole thing. So I've been in that agency kind of centric world for longer than I can remember. But until I decided one day, you know what, to hell with steady income and a certain future, I'm going to dive right into this.
So you just quit and went all in on Web3?
Well, I stopped trying to grow that agency. It's still, it's doing fine where it is, but I decided to go away from the certain path and venture into the brave unknown.
Nice. Okay. So when did you get into the Web3 space?
Because honestly, there's only so many industrial HVAC manufacturers that I can talk to without wanting to kill myself.
Yeah, I'd imagine. I'm in B2B sales, and I can certainly relate to that.
Oh, there you go.
So when did you got into Web3 in 2012? Were you buying Bitcoin, or what did that look like?
What's hilarious is I'm one of those guys that bought Bitcoin and then lost my seed recovery password and stuff. So somewhere out there is somebody's fortune that no one can reclaim.
Oh man, that's painful. Do you know how much?
It's very painful, but I bought it when it was like really cheap. It was just like I don't know, maybe $10 or $12 at the time.
Oh, that's painful. Well, there's painful. A lot of people with those stories. A lot. It's kind of amazing how many I run into that have that same story. So were you in Ether right when it launched, or how did that work out?
Yeah, like a friend of mine who's like really up to date with everything cutting edge, just like sent me emails like, "Hey, bro, you got to buy this thing," and I'm like, "What the hell is this?" I never even heard of it. And I just clicked on it, and I'm the kind of guy that if someone just tells me, any one of my friends tells me anything, I'll spend like a couple $100 on it just to see if it does anything, right? So that's what I did, and I just like kind of shelved it and forgot about it like ages ago, and then look who's the asshole now. It's me.
I don't think you're alone. I think if it was able to be tallied, there'd be plenty of dead wallets that's got Bitcoin sitting in it from back in those days, because the arc was just so long when it comes to technology innovation that a lot of people either moved on or, moved on and came back and then is in your exact position where the seed phrase is just not known and there's no way to get into it. So, I mean, at least you didn't spend 10,000 on 2 pizzas.
Yeah, it's true. I never did that. Never did that.
Those were good pizzas, though, man. They had to be good. All right, so cool. Tell us about Angelo, man.
Yeah, so Angelo, I sort of had the brainchild for this because when I was looking at the NFT boom of a few years back, I thought it was really fantastic technology, just the way it transfers ownership from one to the other with a minimization of paperwork. But I didn't see it being applied to any physical assets. And I wondered, I'm like, why is that? Because this is actually the perfect technology to move physical ownership over from user to user with a minimum of friction, right? So I got the idea instead of doing like digital art, which is what everyone's doing, and a lot of people still do it, and that's great, right? But I thought there's a room for an additional product for physical art, right? So our company is trying to push this whole thing of PFNFTs, right? Which is physical NFTs in essence. So tokenized assets, but using the same NFT technology, but physical tokenized assets is what we're selling here, right? So we're combining like the mechanics of like a stock trading platform or a crypto exchange with NFTs, but instead of trading like a crypto token or flipping like a standard digital NFT, these are physical works of art. Yeah. If you click on the primary market, you can see some examples of some of the stuff that we were doing through our like beta testing there. If you click on sale, there's a drop down there. Yeah, sold out because it's not in style anymore. This is sort of what it looks like here. Yeah. So these sell at like a fixed unit price in the beginning, but then you go over to the secondary market and you can trade them just like you would like a stock or like a crypto token. You do like market orders, limit orders, stop loss, the whole 9 yards. Yeah. And I thought physical fine art is really a perfect asset to begin this exploration with physical assets because it's rare, it's scarce, and it already inherently has value from like hundreds of years. Right. It's not like a question like, does fine art have value? I mean, everyone knows that, right? We've all seen like the guy in the movies that's like smoking a cigar and like spending like £1 million or £1 million on like a painting that he, just bought from somebody. So this is some of the works of art that we did in our beta test. Obviously, most of these we don't own, right? Because this is just demo fake money. Because St. John the Baptist would be worth like, God knows how much, like untold amounts of value, right? Like $50 million or something.
So you guys didn't sell a bunch of like Van Goghs and Monets and Da Vinci's yet, huh?
No. Sad. I mean, if I had that problem, I wouldn't even need to make any business, right? I could sell those things for like $200 million a piece. Now, these are just like stand-ins. We actually just bought our first few pieces of artwork that's going to go on the platform recently. Yeah.
Nice. So you're procuring the art and then listing it. You're buying it and then listing it, or are you looking for different sellers to come on board as well and list their art here?
Yeah, great question. So in the beginning, we're going to buy a few works of art just because the reason no one's done this before is the fine art industry is notoriously difficult to do any kind of innovation, right? It's like it's like insurance, fine art, banks. Now banks are starting to get innovation, so we just have fine art and insurance left. So these guys take quite a bit of convincing. So in the beginning, we have to buy some of the pieces outright to list on the platform. But we've been like, our team's amazing. We've been talking to like galleries and artists for like the past year or so. So they're ready to do it, just list with us without us buying it. But they want to see it works first, of course. So in September, when we launch, we're going to prove just that. Nice. If you go to the secondary market, you can see the real fun and games. So here you can see this is kind of like coin market cap-ish looking a little bit. So we're going to have it. It's going to be different because instead of the NFTs where you're doing like fixed price auctions, this is real-time value fluctuations here. So the price, we're kind of introducing volatility into the fine art market where now it doesn't exist at all. So you have like the hourly change, the 7-day change, and the, market cap total of each particular piece. And one day we're hoping to get these ticker prices listed on other platforms, right? So, crypto.com, Coinbase can sell our products as well.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So
I have a
Oh.
question. So like
Shoot it.
for the ones that like you're buying and like self-custodying, right? Like part of, NFT technology is all about provenance, right? So how are you linking or being able to prove provenance through your platform?
Yeah, so we have a team of art advisors that they are art dealers. That's what they do for a living. So the artists that are going to be on our platform are going to be people that have listed with other exhibitions in different parts of the world already. So they are going to have some press. They're already going to have some sales history behind them before they even arrive on this platform, right? So given their history, you can sort of make an educated guess where they're going if you bother, of course, to do the proper due diligence and research that anybody should do on these guys.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And is there any like token that's linked to the actual physical good itself? Like that I
Yes,
can
these are all
prove?
these are all tokenized, right? So they're all tokens. So each of these paintings, you'll be able to buy tokens and trade as you would any other kind of crypto coin. It's just the difference is for right now, because fractionalized trading is a regulated activity, and we want to be pro regulation at the moment. It's not something you could transfer off platform as of this moment, except if you just want to liquidate profit. Until there is a time where we can actually link it up with other crypto exchanges to spread the actual reach of this platform. But for now, it has to be stuff that's traded on platform from now. I know it's a little bit counterproductive to the crypto movement, but this is what the best we can do within the regulations that are defined for us at this moment.
I think that's good though. You don't want to be too focused on being crypto and like throw your business out the window because of that, right?
Well, exactly. We want to take a bunch of Web 2 customers too. So a lot of you guys might have heard about like Masterworks, right? Maybe, or some of these other alternative financing platforms. We want to take a bunch of those customers too, because those guys don't really have much options either. If you buy with Masterworks, you can basically you have to just trust their judgment because they sell it on your behalf for 3 or 5 years. With us, you can liquidate your position anytime you want with a variety of methods.
And you can buy fractions of a piece, right? You don't have to buy the whole thing.
No, you don't. But if you want to actually own the piece, and this is a question we get a lot, once you buy 65%, the outstanding fractions will automatically be offered to you at a cost average price. So in that way, you can make the choice, do I want to own this piece physically or not? And then it'll actually be shipped to you. So there is like a kind of a physical connection to these pieces as well. It's not just like trading the assets on the platform forever.
Yeah, that answered one of my questions. Yeah, man, this is it's interesting.
We spent a while building this thing, I sort of wanted to be one of those projects that before we just went with a token and we were like, trust us, we're going to build a project. It's coming. Just trust us. I wanted to actually just have the product and then launch the token later, so there's just no doubts if this is coming or not.
Nice. So you're going to
click
launch
on one of these things. You can see the trading options as well. Oh, sorry, you have to be logged in. Yeah, well, we have to sign in for that. This is how I'm going to get my first sign up from this AMA right here. I'm going to force the host to sign up.
Burn, create an account.
Oh no, I got to dox my email.
Oh no, you don't. Stop sharing it on screen.
Yeah, whatever. You know what? Every time I get an email, it makes me feel. All right, hold on. Let me stop sharing. You guys.
Well, I guess we could probably guess your email address just because it's such a unique name you have there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. But there's no like physical and token link from what I'm understanding. Like there are platforms out there that are like embedding like RFID chips into stuff and stuff like that and linking it to the token. You guys aren't doing that, are you?
No, not at the moment. No. That's something we did think about for the but it's just too complicated at the moment. We got to launch this thing.
Yeah, for sure. So when you do go live, how many pieces are you going to have self-custodying for people to start?
So just to be clear, all the pieces will be self-custodied eventually, because again, it's a regulated activity. So when you're talking to insurance companies, regulators, their first question is, where are the assets? So it's going to be hosted in like a few storage facilities in the UK. And we're also going to have our own gallery where we're going to rotate the pieces out for public to see whenever they want as well.
That's awesome. So if somebody had like a fine art piece and they wanted to put it on your platform, they're going to ship it to you and then you'd put it on.
That's correct. Yeah. If we don't have an office near them, of course. Yeah, there you go. Now that you're logged in. So if you scroll down, you'll see some familiar trading options and some pricing charts in this whole thing. So we've done like alpha and beta tests on these things, so it's all fully functional at this point.
Wow, that's interesting.
We tried to make it a little bit less intense too. Like, if you look at, Binance or something, and there's like colors and data that's like flying in your face, you're just like, it's a little bit overwhelming for like a new user. So this is like pretty simple and clean in my estimation.
Yeah, it is clean. I would like the option to have candles though. I like candles.
The candles are coming. Candles are coming.
Nice. Yeah,
And will you guys get like the art appraised and set like a minimum price when it goes live, and then it's just up to the market to decide, what they think it's worth? Okay.
Yeah. So from like the artist perspective, this is like one of our big reasons I did this. I've been around artists all my life, even though I'm like a techno marketing guy, but I have a creative side as well. And really, they get a really bad raw deal with the existing paradigm. If you're an artist today, like a new contemporary artist, and you get represented by a gallery, they're going to take a 50 to 60% commission off your piece. It's really brutal, right? So with us, they can come on here and we just take a 10% commission that they don't even pay for. The buyer does. So they get 100% of the sale of the primary market sales, right? So for them, it's really great because they don't have to deal with the gallery. They can just go to the primary sale. And they can instantly find out if someone likes their work rather than waiting like 5, 6, 7 years for like a bunch of art critics all over the world to decide if they're good or not. Where this is like a direct vote democracy type situation where if we have like 100,000 people that decides if they like what you did or not, right?
Yeah, I know. I think you said two things there that are really great and kind of breaking the paradigms of traditional art market. One is that horrendous deal that the art dealers give to the artists, taking 50% of their profit, but also a lot of this is just all talked about and kind of dealt with behind closed doors, and the people that kind of live in that arena of following those art dealers or those big auction houses, and being able to open this up to a broader community who then can see and value people's art, I think is really incredible.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that's one of the mission statements here is it's really not fair that the cultural treasures that we have are just like held in secret behind closed doors. And you have to like have, a 7-figure salary to just be invited to look at these pieces that are coming. It's ridiculous, right? And they always say art is for everybody, but it's really not. It's really for the rich right now. It's not for everybody. So hopefully we can change that. But even if you can't afford to plop down like 20 grand on a painting, you can at least participate in the process, right? And you can get to know the artists. You can get on some Q&As with them, get some benefits, and then perhaps even make a profit from the investment as well.
Yeah, I mean, half the fun is getting introduced to new artists, and then if they end up making it big, and you got to buy a piece, like a little piece of their original painting, that would be amazing. Yeah, I think that one of the things I wanted to congratulate you on is kind of the UI UX you have here. It's very simple. And I think that will lend to people not being intimidated by kind of this construct, right? Like people feel like, oh, who am I to buy art? Because it's always been flashed in front of them as being, for the rich or the elite. And this makes it really simplified and uncomplicated and inviting in a way, which is kind of what you want to gain new customers that the traditional art market isn't reaching.
100%. Yeah. I mean, as an American, I find it offensive when anything's held in like very elitist circles. That's not the way we do things in that country. So democratizing it is what it's all about here. And of course, the good UI helps.
Yeah, it's super clean. Everything on the site works, which is always good. Let me see if I got an airdrop.
Here's the airdrop.
Oh man. All right, I'll deal with that later, but I want to.
Yeah, I'm never quite clear on these things. If I'm allowed to talk about the airdrops, I usually don't mention it unless the host is like, yeah, go for it. But
honestly, if you want to, I don't care, man. You can talk about it. We're not.
Yeah. So anyone listening right now, angelo.up/airdrop, that's going to come with some rewards like tokenized offerings, obviously the Angelo token itself, plus some shares on the platform as well, depending on your trading activity and your community participation.
I'm gonna sign up.
There you go. Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
We're going with our little Alice in Wonderland theme. I'm sort of obsessed with Alice in Wonderland, so y'all have to forgive me for that.
Hey, nothing wrong with that, man. That's
Yeah,
a
not at
classic.
all. It's actually my favorite ride at Disneyland, even though it's like so old.
You're one of those too. I love it.
There you go. I'm actually really impressed. I like this idea of actually building something first and then launching it. I think in Web3, we've gotten so used to people saying this is what is coming. And then either 95% of the time, nothing comes, or when it does come, it doesn't work because it was rushed on a timeline that you told your holders at the beginning or your community at the beginning. So kudos to actually building something out first, and then I think it'll benefit you a lot when you go to launch, because people are going to be shocked that like, no, it's actually, this is something that works right now, like today.
Call me old fashioned, but before I invest in something, I want to see it.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
It definitely helps. Not really the path this space has taken, but it definitely helps. And I love the.
I also have the luxury of these are bootstrapped from my other company's funds, so I'm in a kind of a unique position because I've already been in business for quite some time, so I can afford to do this. I do understand when some people don't do it, whether they do it the other way, just because they're not in my position to do that. So it's sort of understandable to a degree.
Yeah, 90% of the time though, they never build what they say they're going to build. So
but you should, when you take the money, you should actually do something with it. That's true. There's a few coins that I invested in that definitely didn't do that.
Yes, some things just kind of float away.
I think unfortunately, a lot of people that come into this space that have ideas, launch projects, build communities, they've never run a business before, and so they don't really know what it takes. And you can make all these promises because that's how you build a community and you get attention. But then actually making it happen on the back end is oftentimes a lot harder than what you expected. So timelines, actual funds needed, actual talent on the team needed, that all like hits you in the face. And that's why you end up seeing people either produce nothing or the quality of what they produce is just really, really low. And so to bootstrap it on your end, because you're capable of doing so, beforehand, to actually present a real product that looks very seamless, I think is really going to benefit you in a lot of ways, because people aren't used to seeing that in web.
Yeah, that's the reaction I was hoping for. We just started doing our marketing push with the AMAs and stuff because we've been so product focused. So I very much appreciate your feedback there.
One other question I have is, you said you guys are talking like to obviously the trad art world. What is their reaction? Are you just getting like doors slammed in your face, or they're like, hey, no, we realize that this is the future, maybe it's something we'd like to partner with you on? What are you hearing behind the scenes when you talk to these people?
So the art world is like high school, essentially. It's no different than that. Like if I talk to 25 galleries, I'll close every single one of them if we're doing business with somebody they know. It's like if you're dating like the most popular cheerleader in school, then everyone wants to be your friend. It's just like that in the fine art world. So we've talked to so many at this point, and a lot of them are just waiting to see what happens before they take a punt. But the artwork we bought the other day is the first gallery that actually really understood our concept, is on board with it. And shocker, she's young. She's a younger art gallery. So like when you talk to like these guys that are in their 50s and 60s and 70s, which is who runs a lot of the art galleries right now, they just don't. It's like explaining to them how the physics to get to the moon.
Yeah, I was always interested, because all you hear about in Web3 or in NFTs is like, if it's the trad art world, it has to be coming out of like Sotheby's or Christie's. And it's like, is everybody in the trad art world just using them as a barometer? Like until they fully embrace it, like nobody's really paying attention. It's good to know that
interestingly, like Sotheby's and Christie's is not even well liked in the art world. It's sort of like the last resort of the sales you go to. Yeah. So they're not really like culturally cool, if you put it that way.
That's completely against the narrative that we've all been fed in NFTs over the last 2 years.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah. It's a very interesting world. Like I said, it's very elitist, right? So I didn't even understand all the rules of the game until I started, trying to deal with them myself.
Wow. I feel so uneducated. I need to figure some more stuff out. For sure.
That's
Yeah,
all right.
that's-
We're gonna bring it out for everybody. So enough of this elitism crap.
I like
Love
it.
it,
Well,
man.
I definitely gave you guys a follow, and I'm going to go play around on your website when we get done with the show, and definitely make an account and sign up. I think it's really, really cool. I've always been, what was that other Web2 company that you mentioned? They do a lot of advertising. It kind
Yeah,
of
Masterworks. They do quite a bit of advertising, those guys.
Yeah, I've kind of always been interested in that, but ever since I learned about, Web3 and tokenization, I felt that that was missing, and I didn't see any kind of hint that they were thinking about, involving that technology in any way. So it's really exciting for me to actually see somebody who inherently came into Web3 and built it with that technology in mind. Yeah, man, I think it's a really cool concept, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you very much, sir. Very much appreciate it.
Same here. So on that note, I think we can give you a rating. 2160. You want to go first?
Man, why you always give it on me? Look, he built something. He showed up to this interview with something already built, and he didn't even have to demo like something that was like in a sandbox. You were actually playing with it online. So for me, I think it's a much needed service that I think that art should be for everybody. It shouldn't just be for the elite. And I also believe that fractionalization of ownership is super important, so that people can be motivated to buy art and to become educated about art.
Yep.
Most people don't want to do anything within the art world because they feel like they can't own any part of it. So why participate? And so this gives them a platform to be motivated to participate. And that to me is really, really cool. I don't know if you know this, Bern, but I came to Web3 for the money, but I stayed for the art and the community. And I think, what Jordan has built and Angelo is really, really cool. So I give it a 9. I think it's awesome, man.
Thank you
That's a
so
good
much. I
score.
really appreciate that.
That's a really good score. I can pretty much. So the reason I have 2160 go first is that when he's done, I can just say, "Yeah, me too, man," and then it just makes it way easier. I'm just lazy, but no, I agree with everything he said. The fact that you've got this built out, the UI is great. It opens access to collecting truly fine art to the masses, which is great. And then there's also a degen element as well, right? You've got your trading. You can do stop losses and all that. You can just get in and trade, which I like as well. I love a good gamble. Not sure how volatile these pieces will be because they've been around for hundreds of years, right? For the ones we're looking
Well, we'll
at.
actually be doing mostly new contemporary artists because we want to focus on the artists of tomorrow, not the ones of the past. So the volatility will probably be there.
Nice, I love it. So yeah, that's good. Good volatility, good trading. It's built out well. I can tell you're smart. You're doing things right. You bootstrapped it. It's not just some cash grab. So I'm gonna give you a 8.1. That's a high score. That's really high.
0.1. I like the 0.1 difference.
Yeah. I try to be as precise as I can, which there's really no reason to the number I come up with after 8. So 8.1. I like it. Yeah, man. I think the major hurdle to overcome is bringing on is curating art, right? And curating collectors, which is, it's anything you build that's great. That's always the hardest part, I think. But if you could do that, and it sounds like you're hustling to do it, and I think you have a good chance of doing it, you'll do really well. So, yeah, man, I like it. I think it's going to do great.
So
guys, thank you so
my
much.
question,
Really appreciate it.
Yeah, my question for you is, are you mainly going to focus on in real life artists who have never participated in the Web3 space, or will you have a mix of like artists who do sell work in the Web3 space, but also are creating like physical works as well?
Yeah, so physical works is the game, but we're not going to really discriminate. If someone's worked in Web3 before and they want, there's no reason why we wouldn't work with them if their work is solid, has provenance, there's some sort of sales history behind it already. There's no reason why we'd exclude them, of course. We
There's
just
a
didn't want to
platform-
become like another digital NFT platform because that's already out there, right? There's nothing
No,
like special to that.
The reason that I asked that question is because I feel like a lot of native Web3 artists that kind of have come about, while they're producing digital works and they focus on Web3, a lot of them are creating physical works, right? But there's no real mechanism for them to kind of sell that. It's always like, hey, buy this NFT and we'll send you this physical work. So I think, you know, it would be an easy bridge for kind of a digital artist who's worked in the Web3 space, already understands the technology, to kind of take that gamble on your guys' platform and be able to introduce their physical works as well. And kind of then you have a built-in customer base who already understands Web3 technology and kind of the other things that are taking place on your platform. So that's really cool.
Yeah, you are indeed correct. That would be our ideal customer.
Love it, man. Well, yeah, thank you for coming on. I love what you built, and I'm gonna be playing with it for sure.
Thank you so much, guys.
Say I own a piece of a Monet or whatever, but
a couple of questions before you sign off, Jordan. When do you think you'll be going live with these kind of works?
So we have a projected date in September.
September.
I'm thinking like mid-September. It'll be on all the airdrop email lists that you guys are now subscribed to. You'll get the updates from that is, but that's the goals for September. I wanted to kick this off like definitely before December, but September is the objective right now. And based on our current track record, I don't think there's any reason why we're going to miss that date.
Gotcha.
The platform, as you've seen, is already fairly functional, so it's just a matter of tidying up the regulations now in the banking, and we should be good to go.
And the best way to keep informed is just following your Twitter and your website.
Subscribe on our website. Follow us on Twitter. You're going to get our email updates that go out once a week. Big company updates go out once a month. Or you can join us in Discord if you're one of those cats.
Awesome.
Too many Discords. I'm in too many. I'm managing 2, and it's a lot.
Yeah, I've really had to pare it down like recently because I looked at my Discords, like 75 Discords. I'm like, all right, we gotta get rid of some of these things.
Yeah, I can relate for sure. Cool, man. Well, yeah, thank you. We appreciate it. I'll be sending out recaps and stuff like that, and we'll be doing more videos. So keep your eyes open. We'll have more content coming, but we appreciate you coming on. Love what you built, and the reasons you're doing it. So it's good stuff.
Thanks, guys. Great show, by the way. I like it. I'll tune in for more.
Thanks, man.
Nice. Thanks, man. We appreciate that. All right, now we've got bizflip.io. Bizflip, I see you're joined via Twitter. Are you there?
Hey, man, I am here.
Hey, what's up, man? Yeah, thanks for joining.
You're welcome.
So yeah, to get started, I guess, what's your name?
So my name is Serge. My last name is Koloshnik, and I'm the founder of BizFlip. So hopefully it's easy to pronounce. I know it sounds exotic and out of the U.S., but I was born and raised here, so I apologize if it's a mouthful. So do your best, man.
We're not going to do last names. We'll just call you Serge if that's cool.
All right, you do you.
All right, nice. Thanks, man. Well, yeah, thanks for coming on. I guess to get started, as we always do, if you'd like to just give us a background on your pre-Web3 life and how you got into Web3 and what you've been doing ever since.
Yeah. So my parents immigrated to the States. We did all the shit jobs growing up. Went to college at 15. Wanted to go into medical school. Quickly realized I really didn't give a crap about formal career paths and was much more intrigued with building something from nothing. Built 2 other bootstrap companies prior to this. Had a successful exit on one. The other is a physical brick and mortar business where I am a licensed builder in 2 states. So I enjoy building, whether it's a physical product I'm delivering or a digital service. Through and through, that's just my thing, man. I love seeing something come up from nothing. Come from a background of 4 boys, all enjoy a nice, good fight it in good sport and enjoy having, a nice conversation around a cheerful and vibrant table. So that's about it. The short and sweet story. I don't know if you have any questions specific to my background, but try to keep it short as possible.
Yeah, are you licensed in Michigan, by the way? Because I need a builder.
Not yet, but I can design it by law. But I do have connections if you want to follow up. I always have a few people I'm meeting every now and then. So
I'll reach out. We're looking at the Amish. We're probably going to be the general for our house. All right, 2160 just left. He's out. But we're probably going to use the Amish to like frame it up, and we're going to be the general contractor. And
well, if you
he's,
need advice, free of charge, let me know, man. Not a big deal. I love doing that.
Hell yeah. All right, cool. Thanks, man. I'll reach out. So yeah, anyway, tell us about your Web3 experience. How did you get into Web3?
Yeah, so I enjoy Web3 due to the technology. On my first venture where I had a bootstrap company, SaaS company, I did it through Web2 meaning Web2 toolkits. And it was a little sluggish, and I slowly migrated into cryptocurrency, traded it back and forth. I've traded securities now for over 10 years. So I've been doing a little bit of that, just kind of probing and investigating the space and just watching it grow. I remember back in the day in college when I was young and impressionable, I would like to say. I was 15, and our professor would say, "Oh, Bitcoin's crap. It's all a scam." Man, I wish I didn't listen to him back then. But yeah, so I mean, I've seen it all kind of like from the start and been aware of it and just watched it, kind of develop. Very interested from the first and early days of its origin. I'm 32 now, so I mean, I'm still if you see me on the street, I'm still a baby face, but I've seen a few things.
Yeah, you're young compared to us, man. We're a couple boomers. We're both 38.
We're total boomers over here. I have a funny. I kind of I have the same kind of backstory that you do a little bit from kind of a different angle. So I was in the Army and was made aware of Bitcoin very, very early on. Like I could have bought it for like $4. But we were told the same thing, like it's a scam. People are only using it to buy drugs on the internet or like pay for like illegal things. And I was like, well, I had a clearance at the time, so like I couldn't custody anything like that. And so I just didn't get involved, even though I thought the technology was like super, super cool.
Yeah. I mean, I just realized, I'm sure just like you, that a lot of times when someone says something with conviction, it doesn't make it so. So, I mean, you just got to follow your gut and, you only got one life to live. Take the steps you think are appropriate and seek to benefit others in the process.
Yeah, that's really good advice.
And what I learned from missing out on Bitcoin and Ethereum early after friends telling me to get it is if somebody tells you about something, just buy it. Just get it. Like even if it's just a little bit, like you might lose some money, but obviously make sure it's not a scam. Use a burner wallet, all that stuff. But why not take a little shot on something new? Definitely learned that lesson.
Yeah, everyone's got their own balance. You gotta pick what's right for you and your character and your specific situation where you are in life. There's no one cookie cutter answer for anyone, I guess.
Absolutely. So yeah, tell us about bizflip.
Yeah, so I was very intrigued with the process in regards to asset acquisition and investment on the traditional sense, meaning you would, buy it and sell it physically with a broker. And then I was an understudy for about 8 months with the Web2 process, meaning, through digital means to acquire assets and invest in them. And, discovering, NFTs and AI tech with blockchain, I just figured this was the perfect medium for asset acquisition. So on the back end, we're using this tech to make the process fast, simple, safe, and exciting. So we're trying to combine a lot of things together and make our own sauce in the process. On the front end, we just want it to be simple and fun, kind of feel like a flirtationship, because let's be honest, a lot of times when you're looking at developing an asset, and by asset, I mean a business, or a website, a DApp, whatever you're looking to develop that's going to bring cash flow. Usually people are just flirting in the beginning stages, and they're, it's not really a concrete decision. So we want to change the dynamic to kind of like a flirtationship where people are able to swipe through assets in a singular focus, see what they're interested in. Maybe they want to invest in someone who's just starting. Maybe they want to acquire a small company or an individual, and go from there. So that's kind of the way we're approaching it. And our whole goal is to create a community that kind of caters to the people who are just starting and they need help, and they're connecting with people that are already in the development stage and others that have already had their assets acquired. So we want to be that place that helps the next gen of people develop their assets and, kind of just push people towards, thinking big, developing things, building things that are valuable for others.
So it's almost like an incubator, right? But you're also handling the acquisition side of thing, right?
So it'll be a true marketplace where you can literally list your asset, and on the back end, you will fill out what entity owns it, the percentage of ownership, and you'll be able to list it. And on the front end, if you're interested, you'll be able to swipe through singular focus, meaning one asset at a time. You'll see a logo of the company, and you'll be able to tap it, see what they're making revenue, if they're pre-revenue. You can submit an offer if you like it by swiping right. It'll ask if you want to invest in it or if you want to acquire it. If you want to invest in it, it'll pop up a safe contract. If you've ever heard of Y Combinator, it's one of the most concrete contracts out there for investors. Or if you want to acquire it, it'll pop up an asset contract, meaning you're only acquiring the asset, not the entity behind it, which has many advantages for all parties involved. We will have a on-site transaction processing system or escrow that's already integrated in the marketplace as well. Additionally, users can also have us represent the asset, where we would verify and comb through their financials and provide a value of what they are worth as well. So if they wanted to go through someone to represent them, we would have that option as well. And you can get your actually asset valued right now on the website for free. We have a proprietary evaluation tool up and running there too. So you can check out what kind of, say you have a website or a DApp that's generating revenue. You can plug in your numbers there and see approximately what you're worth.
That is interesting for sure. So I guess my question would be, I would imagine there's a lot of legalities tied to this type of platform. How are you managing all that to make sure that you're protecting yourself and the users?
Yeah, so the way you make everything simple, stress-free, transparent, clear is making sure you're using asset contracts and safe contracts. So people are not just purchasing an NFT. So for example, if you're like purchasing art through NFT framework on OpenSea, technically, if that community says, hey, we no longer offer these royalties or rewards, because you do not have a contractual obligation, or meaning the seller does not have one, they can switch that at any time. What we're doing is we're pairing a contract with the transaction on the front end. So you have a legally binding contract and you have the transaction and the paper trail that goes with it. So it's actually safer than in person or anything else out there right now.
So you're essentially tokenizing the assets. So I've got like victoryhoodie.com where I sell victory hoodies, which is the best wrecked guy trait. But I've got that. I want to sell it. I can value it. It gets tied to an NFT essentially, and there's a contract behind that. Somebody wants to buy it. They buy the NFT. Contract is fulfilled, and then it's theirs. Is that accurate?
Exactly. Now remember, in between them being even able to purchase the transaction, when they click in on, make an offer, it'll pop out what the seller filled out, meaning you filled out your EIN number, what entity owns it, where they can verify, and exactly what you're selling. So say you're like, hey, I just want to sell this website, but I want to keep all the merchandise. It would literally be all labeled there on the contract, so they can see exactly what they're purchasing. And then based off that information, you submit an offer, and then the seller can either approve or deny that offer. So there's a lot of transparency, and the beauty of why we want those contracts in there, meaning the physical bill that's in there as well is because we want that transparency and we want it to be legally binding. So it's not just, hey, here's the NFT, here's a trademark, here's the revenue, everything, but I'm not going to tell you exactly what you get. So that's why it's very imperative that we bond both those elements together, which has not been done to this point.
So in that scenario where Burn tries to sell you a shitty victory hoodie,
Fuck off,
let's
2160.
let's say that he had one made by Dolce and Gabbana because he's bougie like that, and it was really valued at 500. And then somebody got into a contract and purchased it, and then Burn shipped them a hoodie that was made in Taiwan that was only worth $15.
To gild
Like, how do you prevent that from happening on your platform?
Can you reframe the question?
So if somebody's selling something that's physical in the real world through your platform, and then it gets shipped, and the person who bought it on the other end, how do you guarantee that what they're going to receive from this individual is what they purchased?
Got it. So have you ever sold an asset before? Just curious.
Like a physical good?
Like a business, any kind of business, asset meaning any kind of thing that, cash flowing entity.
For sure.
Okay. So if you look at the contract that you use to execute that transaction, you'll see on there's a lot of disclaimers, just like what we have that go around. Make sure you do your own due diligence. Here's verifiable proof. Seller cannot alter any kind of manufacturing rights or anything like that last minute. If they do, they'll be legally liable for to be basically sued. So there's a lot of things in the contract that prevent this kind of thing to happen. And when it does happen, you can go after that person and collect damages done to the entity that is the buyer. So there's a lot of things that go into it. Our whole goal is to make it very simple on the front end, and on the back end, when they go through that contract, they can see everything is there. It's a very industry standard situation. We're not changing the actual asset contracts and safe contracts that are associated with these transfer of assets. What we're doing is we are merging that old school with the transparency, speed, and simplicity of going through a blockchain and NFT framework. That's what we're doing. So we're not reinventing the wheel. We're just putting rubber on the wheel.
That makes sense. So, like, I guess my fear would be doing like selling internationally. So I'd want to meet the person before like if I'm selling $1 million business, I definitely want to meet them and make sure they're real. I'd want a full docs, and I did see something in the roadmap about doxing.
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be really important.
So we have doxing where you can literally the seller and buyer can upload their passport ID, their everything. And actually, when the entity is listing their asset, they are actually doxed at that point. So you'll see an EIN number. All that information is public, so you can circle back and confirm that on multiple public websites. That is a very simple thing to do, and can get your answers very quickly. As far as meeting someone in person, yes, there's always going to be someone that is going to want to meet in person. So there will be external links to like social media. There will be video intros to the company and the sellers, owners that would be pitching, their company. It's a very transparent process. What we want it to feel like is kind of like the excitement of Monopoly cards, and Bumble or Tinder. That kind of environment where it's exciting. What's next? What's here? And just that open framework and that safe kind of environment for people to enjoy and kind of commercialize what kind of like real estate has become with assets. So we got to get out of that mindset thinking that, like if I don't meet them in person, then I'm not sure. When we invest millions and millions of dollars into stocks, which have public information everywhere. That's kind of, I guess, the irony out of it all. But it's we're in the beta process. Long term, we have a token that will be associated with the marketplace as well. That'll be something that every transaction that occurs, You'll get a point-based system out of it, and you'll be able to convert that into our token, and you use those tokens to be able to basically add more swipes. So you don't get unlimited swipes, so you're not wasting everyone's time. So you can purchase more swipes through the tokens that are associated with the marketplace. A lot of cool stuff in the work, including even real estate. We want to integrate real estate. I have a wait list of real estate agents that want to work with us, but we want to focus on the asset business side first before we integrate to that space. But a lot of things that we're working on, but can't reveal it all.
Yeah. I think it's a really interesting concept, and I think it's a really great technology to bring, business buying, to the masses. I think, what a lot of, industry analysts have said is like baby boomers are starting to retire, and there's a lot of businesses out there that could be purchased from these individuals. Is that like a target group that you guys are going to go after? Because inherently baby boomers aren't using like, or aren't great at like technology like this, like emerging technology like this. But I think there's a lot of opportunity there to get businesses to be listed on your platform.
Yeah, so we want to focus on, our first focus is Web3, people that are creating cool products, much like, what was his name? Angelo, even like their marketplace. If he wants to get it acquired or find investors, like he would be able to literally list that, on our actual marketplace if he's looking for investors. Like, or say you just have another DApp that you're trying to make some kind of a new software, in Web3. Like, we want to focus on those guys because they kind of are more in with it, and then work our way back to Web 2, traditional websites and services, and then brick and mortar merged entities with assets as well. So there's a good amount of people that are very interested. There's obviously some people that are old school that are never going to get it. So that's kind of why we're focused that way. We want to kind of get the people to understand, that are building today, and then, circle back to the people that have built and need a little bit of education, and then, from there on and so forth. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it's a great way to show proof of concept first, and then kind of, as you specified, build backwards to kind of those brick and mortar businesses.
Yeah, and by the way, I mean, much like Angelo, I mean, I've been building this thing myself as well for a minute. We have a team of 3 people. I kind of wanted to present a product and service that's launched prior to raising any funds, and I wish actually I didn't need to raise any funds. So that'd be even better. I don't want a corporate head controlling the company. I'd rather have the community telling us what to do and what features to implement next. So on that note, if you ever do have a tip, feel free to join our community. Reach out through email. I mean, we're pretty open and chill. So if you got an idea, we're probably going to put it in the bucket and let it marinate and see what comes up out of it.
So is this gonna be a DAO?
Yes. So it's we're still going to use like an IPFS system for data storage, but yes.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I mean, DAOs, if done right, can work well. As 2160 knows, I mean, he's on the Rug DAO Council with Rug Radio. I was on it as well. It's pretty complicated from a legal perspective, and ensuring that you're doing it properly and following guidelines and planning for the future as well. Even though we have no straight rules right now from the SEC regarding what's a security and what's not. But how, if you do it right and you've got a good legal team, it can work out. So definitely interesting.
Well, we're not trading securities. Remember, there's a difference between trading securities and assets. That's why we're specifically focused on businesses, cash flowing entities.
Well, I was referring to the DAO token itself. Yeah, the tokens and how that's structured. I'm not a lawyer. I can't give any kind of advice on it, but there's a lot of intricacies that you need to take into account when building out a DAO. And I definitely suggest a legal team working with you.
I do have a few friends that are lawyers, and the main thing that, just so you're aware, from my understanding, is that I've had 2 friends tell me this, is that it's all about basically making sure your token is a utility and is actually needed for whatever application you're creating. that it's not, you're just like, like raising funds with a token, but that token actually is necessary for your like, say, your marketplace to function. So for example, in our situation, the token is necessary for you to be able to purchase more swipes, for you to be able to convert your points and recircle it back into the marketplace. So that's kind of the main stick is from my understanding. I mean, if anyone has any more wisdom to share or data on that point, please do so. But from my understanding, getting advice from several people, that's the main thing of where it's headed.
Yeah, that's accurate. Along with, and again, I'm not a lawyer, but from what I understand, you cannot establish a liquidity pool or really have anything to do with it or acknowledge a liquidity pool in any way. Because then you're saying, yeah, you're trading our token for money, which could lead you down that path. So I'd be careful with that, as well as the holders of the token cannot receive any kind of financial reward for holding the token, because then it starts to look a little more like a security. Again, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not Gary Gensler.
No, I gotcha. And honestly, for me, like if the laws really get strict, that's why if you look at our roadmap, the token is all the way at the end, because I personally, like, that's not what we really care about. What we're trying to do is the service. We want people to get excited about assets, commercialize it. We want people to build things, build cool companies and, different things that people want. That's kind of what we really care about. The actual token, if it becomes too annoying to do, then, we might scrap that. That's the awesome thing of being a small and flexible company, is that you can pretty much just, put up, screw the sign and do something that makes more sense for everyone involved. So that's kind of where we're at with it.
Good. Okay. Yeah, I like that. Definitely the flexibility and pivoting as you're building, and just always being adaptive. That's important. So yeah, I like it. I'll rate first this time. Okay. So we're gonna give you a rating on a scale of 1 to 10. So when I first got into crypto, and this was only like a year and a half ago, a little over a year and a half ago, I got in by reading The Infinite Machine, which is a book about Ethereum and how it came to be in the use cases. And one of the use cases that really was interesting to me was like people will be they'll be initiating contracts through the Ethereum network, right? So that could be a mortgage, it could be a car loan, it could be a business, right? Being bought or sold. And that's something that was really interesting to me, and it made me really bullish on Ethereum, because I guess a lot of people believe that long term, this is how things are going to be done. So far, I've seen very few projects or businesses really execute that. So you're one of the first ones that I've seen that's building something that makes sense in that arena. And I really like the idea that you'll be expanding into real estate as well. Imagine everyone doing their mortgages through Ethereum, and you're a first mover. So that, that could be absolutely massive long term. And then you'll be selling your business on bizflip to Rocket Mortgage for whatever, right? So yeah, it's really it's interesting, man. I like it. I like how you're building it out and the process. The idea, like if I was a VC guy, I think it'd be cool to just like pull this up and swipe through anything cool to buy today, right? And if something really jumps off the page, then you can start digging in. So I think it's cool. Yeah, I'm gonna say like the whole DAO thing, like, you already covered that. If it gets too messy or dangerous looking, you can back out. No problem. Nobody's gonna rely on the token. You're building the business first. That's valuable as well. So I'm gonna rate you in 8.3294.
Well, dude, I got to get you to 8.4, man. Maybe if I say someone like Randy Adams is consulting us as well, that would get us there. It's one of Steve Jobs' early engineers.
Oh, nice. That's
So we got a few eyeballs on us, but we got to deliver.
Yeah, that's what it all comes down to, right? You got to deliver. But I love the idea. Love what you guys are building. Yeah, it's I think it could be a very valuable business, and it could be something that fulfills the hopes of Ethereum long term. So yeah, 3 and whatever the fuck I said after that.
He said 8.4.
8.4. All right, you get an 8.4.
He's
Let's
rounding
round
up. From my end, I'll kind of approach it from the same exact angle as Byrne did. Like, I feel like, you know, Web3 has been the tech behind Web3, you know, really came to the masses in the form of NFTs. And I think that with people that being their only experience with them, just don't understand how powerful the execution of a smart contract on chain is actually going to be. And that when people talk about the technology is going to permeate every part of our life, that's really what they're talking about. And it's really utilizing the technology in the way that you're looking at doing it, which is bringing it to the forefront and pushing an industry forward that is kind of, you know, lived predominantly in a Web 2 or pre-Web 2 world. Like, go try to buy a business online. It's very difficult to do. Those are deals that are still being made in person for the most part, or through law firms. And so to bring this technology to the forefront of Web3 smart contracts into the world of being able to kind of sell a business that you've created, I think it's a really, really cool concept. I do agree with Byrne that legally, I think there's a lot of things that might need to be worked through, especially when you get into the real estate realm. But I'd like to see projects being built with the technology that is not in a way that the masses were kind of introduced to it. So kudos to you for taking a really great idea. I wish you a lot of luck while you continue to build, and hope you get the right investments to be able to continue on your journey. I will give you an 8.2. And I want to follow along and kind of see where you are. So if you ever, when you get further down the road and you want to come back and we can kind of dig into what's been built, that would be really cool for, I think, both of us to get an update.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. And, you know, like I said, you know, we're pretty laid back people. So if you want to ever, you know, drop by and share some wisdom or knowledge, we're always open, very flexible. We're kind of like, you know, we believe in like smart arts, kind of like the concept of making sure you're mixing different things together and you're flexible. And that's really the only way in this world now. So appreciate the feedback.
Awesome, man. Yeah, thanks for coming on. Really interesting stuff you're building here. So we appreciate you taking the time to join us. And like 2160 said, you know, when you're further down the road, come back on, and we can do a recap and see how things are going as well. So
yeah, I appreciate it. One last thing before I run to take care of my little ones. I got 3 under 5. We are, hey man, it's not that bad. It's not that bad.
I got 2 and it's bad. But
It's all good, dude. So basically, we are actually looking to launch in about a month or 2. We got a decent amount of wait lists. We actually have companies that are already wanting us to list for them as well. So yeah, I mean, if you want to subscribe to our newsletter online, you'll be able to see what we're up to. We don't spam people's email. If we got something important to send, we will send it. Otherwise, stay tuned and watch us grow and develop. Thank you for the opportunity, and I wish you guys all the success in the world with what you're doing here, spreading education for everyone, and you know, bottom up basically is providing value for the community and growing it too in your own way. So thank you. Take care.
appreciate it, man. Take care. bizflip.io.
Yeah,
All right, man. I'm gonna play us out.
all right, let's go. You got any plans this weekend, Byrne?
We're gonna do some boating. We're gonna camp with the kids in the in-laws yard.
Oh, I was gonna say, this is like the worst weekend ever to like try to go camping somewhere, but the in-laws yard, that totally makes sense. I think,
And it's easier because then there's
my
stuff. I don't
my
know.
wife, who is in the crowd on Twitter Spaces, is telling me we're going to the beach today, so I gotta hurry up and get out of here.
All right. Well, you make sure to put on some SPF, okay, bud?
Yeah, man, for sure.
All right. Thanks. We'll talk to you. Have fun.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.